Okay, guys, I need you guys to close your eyes. You guys know what's happening, but okay, ready?
It's supposed to be on.
It's the dancing outfit, dude. Erica Harligan, come on our podcast. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the HGO podcast. I can't do it seriously in this way. I am your host today, and joining me is Hunter and Kyle. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Just look fantastic, Ethan.
Thank you.
Done with your hair.
It's only 2 weeks late. But you know what? It kind of worked because it's my birthday as we're recording this right now. But Anne's birthday is also the 12th, so kind of works. We have similar birthdays, so there you go. So yeah, this was my planned thing. Some people had hinted on when I said that the dancing outfit was a clue. Somebody messaged me and was like, "You better not," and I was like, "You shut your mouth." But yeah, here you go. This was my objective with this costume was to be the most make the most horrifying thing possible, because I knew you two would do something cool. I was like, well, if I make everybody mortified, that's the job. And you know, if I take the wig off, I'm now Shido. Look at that, perfect.
Oh,
Double dip.
amazing.
Yeah, thank you. I'm not keeping the wig on for the whole episode. I'm sorry. I am also wearing the dress and the leggings and everything, and you know, it's not bad. When people say that dresses and kilts are freeing, I can feel it. And also, hey mum, because I said I'd show her this part of the podcast, so there you go. Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the HGO podcast, where sometimes we talk about video games.
I realized you said you're not. Are you gonna keep the hat that keeps your hair in place?
Oh,
on the whole
100%.
time? 100%. Amazing.
Where we occasionally talk about video games. Hey, this is just me in the future when I'm bald.
Yeah.
But yeah. I couldn't keep this a secret from my mum. Like, I remember I told my mum about it. I was like, I can do the Joker dancing cosplay, or I can buy the Anne one. And I was like, I feel like the Anne one would be funnier. And my mum was like, yeah, it was. And my dad just looked at me as if, like, what the hell are you doing? But it's all good. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you're strapped in, because we're going to talk about SMT5. We're going to talk about year one of PlayStation. Animal Crossing, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. How am I hot? Literally half my body is exposed and I'm boiling in this. I'm taking the wig. I'm taking it off. There we go. But yeah, welcome back to the show. Housekeeping. I'm out of it, dude. Hunter, what do we usually promote?
I don't think we've done anything outside of the podcast. I still go watch the Metroid review if you haven't.
Yeah, go watch the Metroid review. Thank you for the love on the last couple of episodes. We appreciate it. Keep on listening so that we can do stupid shit like this. Did anyone have Ethan wears a skirt on your bingo cards for 2021? Because you should have, apparently. It was probably on mine. But no. There you go. I've got nothing to say.
I refuse to believe it was on your bingo card.
I knew it was, because...
No.
Here's the thing: is if there's
Mine
one
was
thing,
right next to a new Metroid game on mine.
Yeah. Because the thing is, right, I have absolutely zero confidence in myself, but I have 100% confidence in making a fool of myself. So this is a horrifying situation. But if you're saying that I will not wear a dress to humiliate myself on our audio podcast, you're right. This is the image. Yo, Erica Harligan, come on our podcast.
Pretty please.
Send that one out on Twitter. Fuck me.
Too bad I'm only in charge of the YouTube comments.
You know, I'm gonna remove the other one. That's now the new intro. Fuck the fake one. That's the new intro for the podcast. Someone at her, please. Man. Someone take that clip and at her on Twitter. I'm sure she'll love it. Let's move on. Let's just get into SMT5. I'm just gonna pretend that this is.
Fuck it. This is the whole episode.
Well, Ethan humiliates himself for an hour. Yeah,
end it here. We peaked.
This is. It's not actually bad. It's not terrible quality. It's not actually that bad. Anyway, we're moving on.
That's
now,
nice.
Now I've got to pretend that I'm not wearing this fucking get-up for the rest of the show. Let's start with SMT5. It sucks because I am like most of the topics this week as well. It sucks.
We could do a continuity error and just break and have you change clothes real quick.
No, I'm just gonna do it. We're just gonna.
All
sit in
right.
this. I mean, it just looks like a t-shirt now. Just pretend that my belly is not out. Pretend that I'm not wearing like fucking stocking things and a dress. Can we just all pretend that? Okay, cool. Thank you. No fan art, please. I would really dread for that to happen. SMT5. Let's be
Yes, fan
topical.
art.
No, don't. No fan art. And Hunter,
Yes,
don't you
fan
pay
art.
someone either. I swear to fucking God. No.
Don't worry.
Hunter does know an artist.
I do. They're great.
You've been so kind to me, so I'm gonna fucking ruin your day and make you do art of this monstrosity.
I don't know if they'd be upset, but I'm not gonna do it.
Anyway, let's talk about
Shin
SMT.
Megami Tensei 5.
SMT5, yeah. I've been playing SMT5. I played the first couple of hours of SMT5 because I was like, people aren't mad enough of me giving that rant last week that I thought I'd just double down, roll the dice, wear a Persona outfit, and talk about how I'm not vibing as much with SMT5 as I thought I would.
Hey, if nothing else, you're coming from a place of you've played the game now.
I've played the game now. I have an opinion. Joining Hunter with the Gloveless Gang. I got this fucking metal band as well. We got everything right.
Got a bracelet.
Yeah, rock on.
I got nothing.
You got nothing. I probably should have. No, actually, I shouldn't have told you to put your outfit back on because then the fucking light show would make it render for 8 hours, and I have to look at myself.
I
in this
wouldn't
outfit
use the
rendering.
light show again. I would have to dig out the keyboard again though, which would suck.
Yeah, it would. But yeah. Anyway, so SMT5. My current vibe with SMT5 is I'm not clicking with it, and that's okay. Is my tagline. If that would be my tagline. If I was to write a review of SMT5, which I'm not going to do because I'm not qualified to write a review for the game because I know I'm not going to finish it. But my tagline, my IGN would not be Persona without the heart. It would be
Thanks.
I'm not clicking with it, and that's okay. Would probably be my tagline for it because from what I've played so far, the first 2 or 3 hours of the game, it's really solid. It's an Atlas game, right? It's an Atlas game through and through. You can tell from the way the characters look to the way the environments are done. It very much feels like an Atlas game. But the gameplay just doesn't click with me, and the lack of story doesn't click with me. I feel like even for an SMT game, this feels story light. So far, anyway. To the point where there has literally been 0 story. There's been 2 cutscenes. There's like 2 cutscenes. Now you're in Wasteland Tokyo and you're fighting demons. And I'm like, okay, feels a bit odd, but we'll get to it. So SMT5 is your classic JRPG, classic Atlas JRPG where it's balls difficult. And the combat is something that I really respect because I respect Atlas in a lot of ways. One, because I'm like, holy shit, they really did dumb down a lot of the mechanics for Persona so that idiots like me can get into the franchise, because not only do you have your extra turns and stuff like that if you do criticals and if you do weaknesses like normal, but also Hunter in SMT5 in particular, I don't know if this is true for the rest of the franchise, but if you do something and it's a resistance or an absorb, you lose a turn. You don't just
no.
Yeah.
Shit.
You lose.
That'll make you pay attention.
Yeah. There's a back and forth between it, which is kind of crazy. It's really fucking hard. It's a really hard game, even for SMT. Yeah. I feel like this is a really hard game, and I can see why a load of reviewers have kind of gone too difficult because I like it's a valid criticism. This game's fucking hard. And I remember doing the tutorial. When you first booted up Persona 4 or you first booted up Persona 5, you do the tutorial, the first fight, and it's a piss easy boss where you can just press the X button twice if you wanted to, and it dies, and you're like, there you go, nice tutorial. This fucker took like 5 hits, and I did 2 weaknesses to it, and I was on the easiest difficulty because I was like, this is really going to be too hard for me, and it's crazy.
I remember a lot of people with Nocturne. They died on the tutorial fight.
Yeah, it's really difficult to the point where I think if I played on normal, I think I would have lost to the first fight. It's crazy. So I'll give you some pros. I think the character design, for the most part, is really well done. I really love, is it Nahabara? Whatever the main character is called. I don't know what the main character is called. I can't look it up because we're recording using Zencaster instead of Discord, so I can't look it up on Google. But the main protagonist design when he's fused with this god is sick. I don't know who came up with it. Yeah, with the blue hair, the really long blue hair and shit.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
Sick. It's really cool. I'm not as big a fan on his just normal Jimmy schoolboy outfit.
His lame bowl cut,
his lame bowl cut
look. Yeah,
as someone who had a bowl cut for a large part of their early years when they were like 8. I still sit at people and look at characters when they have a bowl cut, and I'm like, no, why? You don't do this to yourself. Yeah. I was 8 when I had mine. You get it. You get rid ASAP. Dude. You get rid ASAP. But the character designs are pretty interesting. The voice acting is an interesting one. It's one of those ones where I think it's solid enough. It does the job. I think we got to give props to Atlas, because bar a couple of people who are returning voices that you'll hear and you'll go, oh, that's that person. So far, to me, the only person that's been that is Ray Chase, but he voices the subway announcer, and that's it. He has like 2 lines, so it's not a big one. But
he's the subway announcer in this game too.
Yeah, he's got the trifecta
Nocturne
now.
Remaster.
Yeah, and the Nocturne remaster as well. God, this shit's weird. Anyway. I keep wanting to pull it down, and it's a crop top, so my tummy's just like, no, I'm staying out. Audio listeners, please. I've tried so hard for this. Please go on the video version and mock me. I'd appreciate it. But yeah, the voice acting for the most part is pretty mid. It's nowhere near as good as Atlas's Greatest, which is, from my experience, was like Persona 4 and Persona 5, probably Persona 4 more, because I don't think you can get a bigger prediction cast of who will be the biggest voice actors of all time than the Persona 4 cast, where in a decade you wouldn't have guessed that Laura Bailey, Troy Baker, Yuri Lowenthal would all be Johnny would all be massive, right? This cast seems mid, where some of them I'm like, they're interesting. The person that voices the main protagonist, I think, is an excellent casting. They only like have little grunts and lines, but I feel like their voice really suits the character, so that's really good. The guy that voices the god that you don't play, I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, even with Persona, where it takes me 50 hours to learn the names, and I don't think I'm going to learn these ones, because I don't think I'm going to put 50 hours into it. But the voice of the god that kind of bonds with you is a pretty good one. The voice of the little weird demon who's the merchant of the shop, he's sick. Good character. Like him. He's got this weird creepy voice to him. He looks like he's right out of Dark Souls or some shit. Fucking
You see, it's funny because you didn't really describe anything specific, but I just thought of Patches the spider from
100%. He 100% is like Patches from Bloodborne in a weird creepy way. So yeah, pretty cool. But most of the voice cast is just kind of generic, like nothing great. There's this fake Ryuji looking ass who has a really terrible voiceover. It's not a good impression. I've only seen him a handful of times, so apologies if his voice does get better throughout the performance. But like, he has this voice line at the start of the game where he like hits his head on like the roof of a short tunnel, and he goes like, "Wow, youch!" Like he does like a really like it doesn't even sound like he was hurt. He's just like, "Wow," like oof, ow, like it was like he was like one of the. He didn't go ah. He was like, ow. Like I was like, okay, bit shit. One interesting thing, the combat, we'll get to the combat, but the thing that I think is interesting about this game and shows how, to me, Atlas has really been experimenting with changing the way that they do their games, where, you know, Persona 4 and pre-games were very much dungeon-based adventures, right? Where you would go through a dungeon, beat the boss, they'd be randomly generated in the Persona franchise. I don't know if that was the case in SMT. But
I don't think it was the case in Nocturne, but
no,
I can't say for sure.
But yeah, so I don't know if that's the case, but regardless, in this game, dungeons for the most part, I believe there's a couple of dungeons at the end of the game as far as I'm aware, but for the most part, you have got this desolate Tokyo, this desert, like deserted, a post-apocalyptic Tokyo, which is like a connected open world, and that is your world. There are no dungeons. For the most part, it's exploring this this massive version of a wasteland apocalypse of Tokyo, and it's actually quite cool. I like it quite a bit. It's different. It's also kind of got that Pokemon Let's Go vibe, where instead of random encounters, you see the big fuckers on the
You
plains.
see them on the
So
map and then you
yeah,
encounter it.
yeah. So it's like
Nice.
Breath of the Wild, but instead of seeing bokoblins in the distance, you just see a massive fucking Mara penis chariot just cruising on the desert dunes, doing fucking 180 trick scopes across the dunes. You know, they're just all racing on a track. That's what I like to believe.
If they hit you with the JRPG classic, if you'll be minding your own business in the first area or so, and then suddenly there will be a thing that's like level 50 about to smack you for looking at it funny.
Not so far, I haven't seen, but I've also been very linear with it because there are plenty of side quests, there's plenty of bonus content. It's an Atlas game through and through, and you're definitely going to get your money's worth if you do everything, and you're probably definitely going to get your money's worth if you just mainline it as well, because it's probably still going to be 50 hours. But it's an interesting idea. The frame rate is fucking awful. It's a really pretty Switch game. It's a really well optimized Switch game, but even still, it's a very poorly running Switch game to the point where it's like my biggest comparison is, it's not as bad as this, but my biggest comparison that I would give it to is Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which, if you know, that game has a pet peeve of mine where whenever anything interesting happens in that game, the game's like, hold my beer, we're going down to 20 FPS, boys. Like, salut. It's been real. Hope you like slideshows. I hope you like Cal's webcam on Discord, because that's the quality of frame rate you'll get. But
just various shots of Link looking in different directions.
Yeah, but that aside, it's still a fun time where I'm like, if you like SMT and you're up for the brutally hard difficulty where the game slaps you on the ass and goes, try again, bitch, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna try again, you won't get me this time, you're gonna love this game. If you are someone that's like me and you're on the fence and you're like, hey, I like other Atlas projects, I like Persona, I like Catherine from the very little that I played of it like 3 years ago. I liked what I played of Catherine. Because that's a fun fact. I played a tiny bit of Catherine because there was a demo or something. I played Catherine before Persona.
Nice.
I didn't know what Atlas was. I just knew the puzzle game Catherine. I was like, this is cool. Not buying it, but this is cool. I need to get on it. But I digress. I'm rambling a lot because I'm just trying to get my points out, because I know that you two have no ideas. Maybe Cal has some questions. But the open world exploration is interesting, if not a bit like put down by the frame rate, and the exploration is kind of like faltered by that. It's not terrible. I'd say my biggest comparison would be Xenoblade 2, where it's still mighty playable, but you'll see those slowdown moments, you'll see the glitches and the bugs. It's not a perfect game. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of the more buggier Atlas games, because I don't usually think of bugs with Atlas. From the couple of games that I played, like Golden is pretty robust to me.
Buggy in what regard?
Like texture pop-ins and weird things happening. Like, I had my screen go completely white during a battle, and then it just came back to normal as if nothing had happened. There was one where the enemy model just didn't load in, and they were just fighting the air, but the air had a health bar for a while. Like, that happened. I've had a couple of glitches here and there, but for the most part, it's fine. It's playable enough, and I think you'll have a good time. Combat is fucking hard. I mentioned there's that system where the back and forth where you can gain additional turns, lose additional turns. On top of that, there's like this kind of bar, which is like, I like to call it your kind of critical bar, where you build it up over time, and then you do a load of fucking... I assume it's like you deal a load of shit ton of damage, or it boosts your stats and stuff like that. You got one of those kinds of bars. I remember mentioning that a load of reviewers thought that the UI was clunky. I wouldn't say it is clunky. I would say it is very JRPG turn-based menu design, where there is 6 million menus, and the game just expects you to love that. If you're not a fan of 6 million menus, this is not the game for you. It does that classic thing of where all of the commands are on a straight vertical line, and there's like 5 options, and then you click and then there's another 10 options as you keep going. The longer the game goes on. But it's very in depth, it's very complex, and I'd say again, if you're looking for that experience, you're gonna love it. What I don't love is games having difficulty by being sponges. You know, I hate it, guys.
Yeah.
And this game, it suffers from sponge syndrome, spongitis, whatever you want to fucking call it. This game has it. The fights, not even including bosses, just the enemies, even on the easiest difficulty, feel like the difficulty comes from them being able to 1 to 2 hit you if you aren't being on your toes, and the fight's lasting way too long because they're spongy as shit. That, to me, I'm like, that's fair enough. Some people like that. I personally don't. I prefer it to be a more tactical.
RPGs
I'd rather
to have spongy enemies. I don't like that. Like, I've still been playing Tales of Arise, and still most of the regular encounters in that game, like a minute and a half.
And I'm sure you will get to that point where when you're battling lower level mobs, you'll feel like you'll hit them and you'll just destroy them. But especially in the early game, the game very much feels like even the small grunts take like 5 turns to beat. Like 4 or 5 turns. And it feels really slow and clunky. And I don't know why. Also, one last complaint. Atlas, it's 2021. Have a save button that isn't at a fucking arbitrary waypoint. How are we still here, dude? They've got an open world game and you still have to go to a fucking fountain to save your game, dude.
Oh,
it's
man.
actually tragic. But no, I know I've come off sounding very negative, but it's not that. It is the definition of, I gave you my tagline at the start, it's a great game, but it's just not for me. And I 100% agree with what people are saying. Is if you are into an SMT experience, or you're into the idea of playing a brutally hard turn-based JRPG that will spank you on the ass and tell you try again, bitch, then this is the game for you. If you're someone like me who likes Atlas's other work and cares more about the story, I think that from what I've heard from other people, there are other even SMT games that do a better job at this. Maybe try another one. Maybe try Nocturne. Nocturne's probably getting to the point.
Yeah.
Nocturne's probably getting to the point now where the remaster is probably going on sale more often, and it's probably going to a lower price. Maybe try that.
The remaster also added in an easy mode.
Yeah. I mean, there's an easy mode in SMT5, but it's still fucking hard. But no, I think it's an excellent game. It's just the definition of not for me. But if you are after SMT5 to be, like, if you're wanting SMT5 to be SMT, then congratulations. They have catered to you in every possible way. Might have even done it more so than even I thought. I thought they might have turned the difficulty down a bit, but no, it seems it's balls hard.
I do have one quick question,
Go for
Ethan.
it.
When you played Persona, how often do you use buff and debuff moves?
Depends. Base game, I use them quite a bit. Royal, less so.
Okay.
In 5, not at all. And 4, more so.
Yeah, and same. In 4, I use them quite a bit. And that's one thing I will... Yeah, they changed the buff system in this as well, by the way.
Oh.
So now it works more similar to Persona, where it's single person, 3 turns, instead of being... I know SMT had a thing where all of its buffs would be party-wide buff kind of debuff systems, whereas now it's... There probably are group moves, but from what I've seen, it is single kind of buff debuff shit, from what I've seen.
Yeah. It's just, I remember like hearing stuff about Nocturne, where when you get to Matador, if you don't understand buff and debuffs in that game, he'll just kill your ass.
The homie, Matador.
And it's basically like, I don't know how your playstyle with Persona is compared to how you're playing SMT5, but like it could just be like a mindset thing where you're like, okay, I can't play it like Persona.
Yeah, and it's definitely a mindset. I wouldn't even say it's not the fact that I can't play it like Persona. It's like I can't play it like any other turn-based JRPG that I've played.
Yeah,
and
like I never used buffs and debuffs in any other JRPGs like that, except for borrowing Octopath. And that's because I refused to grind.
And it's not like
Respect.
Yeah, and it's not like it's just get good, kid. Yeah, there is a get good part to it, but it's just you have to it's like Dark Souls. It's like a mindset. You have to be into it in the first place to be willing to get good. You know? And to me there was nothing in SMT5 that it's all excellent, but there's nothing that's that hook to me. There's nothing that kind of pulls me in and goes, yeah, this is an excellent, like, this is something that I want to commit to. And that's okay. I'm perfectly fine with that being, like, a thing. I'm not going to complain about it. Like I say, the game's great. It's just not for me. That's why
Yeah.
I won't review it. I'm not going to give it a negative review or go, this game's shit because it doesn't work the way I want it to work. No, it's a fantastic game. From what I've played so far, it's really robust. It's really solid. It has some interesting concepts. It's just not for me, and that's okay. You know? It do be like it sometimes. Game fire, dude. Fire game.
Fire. Yeah.
I wore the conclusion on my shirt. So there we go.
Add that to our review ranking system.
Fire.
Fire.
Right in between recommended
Pop my
and
chest
must
out every
play.
time, dude. Yeah, like, fire, dude. There we go. So yeah, SMT5. Let us know if you guys have been playing it, if you've been enjoying it. Let us know. At Hot Gamers Only on Twitter, or comment down below. And please do send me a fucking essay in the comments telling me how I'm wrong and a baby bitch as well. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Love you. So humble. Anyway, moving on. Shall we talk about the PlayStation 5, Hunter? I feel like that's the other bit of news for this week.
Yeah, the PlayStation 5 turned 1 as of yesterday, correct?
Yeah, it was November 12th.
Yeah. So, I think it's been a pretty solid launch year, I guess.
Right, you see, I think this is going to be an interesting conversation. So basically, we're going to do a year one review where we're going to talk about what came out. We're going to talk about the console itself, how it's been holding up. I've had it for a year. Hunter's had it for about 7 months. 9 months, close to
I got
that.
it in February.
Cal doesn't have one. So this is an interesting conversation.
They keep releasing PS5 games on the PS4. I don't need
Yeah.
to buy one yet.
Exactly. So we're going to have that conversation. We're going to have the conversation of, as owners of the PS5, Hunter, how we're feeling, what we've been feeling about the games, the console itself. And then we'll throw it to Kyle later on and talk about what is the stance of people that don't have a PS5. How are you feeling a year in? Are you feeling that you're starting to want to get the console? Are you starting to feel that you wish there was more to it? Like, we're going to get into all of that stuff. I feel like we have every perspective. We have someone that's had it since launch. We've had someone that picked it up after. And we have someone who has yet to do that. Yeah. Let's get into it. Shall we talk about the launch?
Sure. How was that launch then, Ethan?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to list the games off first? And then I'll tell you
right,
how the launch
right.
was.
Okay. So, it launched with Miles Morales.
Mhm.
Hold on.
A video that we did on my birthday last
Yeah,
year.
Miles
We're 2 for 2 now.
Morales, Demon Souls, as well as also Sackboy. Big Adventure was
Yep.
in that general
So there were
area.
two cross gen. There was Spider-Man was cross gen. So was Spider-Man cross gen. So was Sackboy.
Yeah.
Bugsnax was as well. Don't forget my boy Bugsnax. But the PS5 version was free on PS Plus, and then obviously the big one was Demon Souls. And this is coming from someone that's been at like most Sony launches. I was definitely I was at the PS4 launch. I remember the PS3 launch vaguely because of the lack of shit. And I can very easily say that this was the strongest launch lineup that Sony has ever had, but that's not saying much. Because the PS4 had Knack.
Better than 4.
It had Knack and Killzone Shadowfall. And I'm like, Spider-Man Miles Morales is a great game. Fucking excellent game. You can check out our review that was this time last year. It was an excellent game.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Great.
Demon Souls I have yet to play, but people loved that as well. Apparently a great remake. So much so that Bluepoint got acquired. So there you go. Obviously, great little game. Sackboy, I've heard it's a really solid 3D platformer. So again, these were all solid games.
PS5 also came with Astrobot installed on it.
Astrobot is still, to this day, my favorite PS5 game, which let's get into that because it was free on the console. But yeah, great little pack in, so much fun. I really hope that Team Asobi's not making a VR Astro as their next game because I really want another regular one.
I would like for a more robust, just regular platformer.
Just another Astro would be sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a solid launch lineup. But here's the thing: is when the thing that you're going, okay, you need to try this, is fucking Astrobot. Like, that's the thing, was when friends came over, or when my parents were like, how's the new console? I'm like, okay, you need to feel what the controller feels like with Astrobot. That's like the peak of the fucking console, is the demo that came with the console.
It's
Like,
like
for
Wii
me,
Sports.
genuinely.
It
But it
is
was-
really weird how that turns out sometimes, because that was made with the express intention of showing all these things that you could do. And, well, game devs don't really necessarily care about all of those things that you can do, so you're not always going to get that as opposed to just some of them.
And they also just did it, like, excellently, because, like,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I played Black Ops Cold War, the Call of Duty that was out at the time, because their big thing was, we're using the adaptive triggers to make it feel like you're pulling the trigger of a gun. And I used it for all of 2 seconds and went, cool, this makes me worse at the game because now I have more resistance on the triggers, and I turned it off. And the new COD, Vanguard, I didn't even give it a shot. I literally just went, right, first things first, accept the terms and conditions, settings, turn the triggers off, and turn your shitty motion blur off as well while you're at it. Crank the FOV up. I sound like a PC gamer. But most games, other than Sony's first party, have done a real shit job of using the controller so far. And it's like, because most of the time, you've played them, Hunter. For example, Life is Strange, right? They use the triggers, but it's just resistance. It's just like, oh, you're feeling the emotions because it's taking you more fucking effort to press that trigger button. Or the great feature of Watch Dogs Legion that also had adaptive triggers that broke my fucking controller and I had to fix it myself. One thing I will say about the console, let's talk about the console itself. I feel like they lived up to their promise of no load times. I feel like, for the most part, that promise has been lived up to. There are very few games where I've had to sit through shitty loads, and some of them are in games that are just not optimized, that you can tell, like Life is Strange, where Life is Strange could very easily instantly load.
That was the one where I could recall seeing the little record player spinning pretty often, and I was like, huh.
And I think that's just an optimization thing, not necessarily a console limitation. So no, the SSD is sick. I wish there was more storage. I'm actually getting an SSD, like an expansion SSD for it, because it's got to the point now where I'm sick of it. Because I'm just like, I've had enough. And there was a sale on them, and I was like, I'm just gonna do it. I don't care anymore. I just need more space than 500 gigs in 2021. It's got to that point. The other thing that lives up to it is the controller. I think that, without question, to me, the DualSense is the best controller that Sony has ever made. And it's not even close.
That's easily an acceptable opinion. Like, I think it's by far their best one.
I think it's the first time, I think it's the first time they've actually lived up to it.
Whether you want to use the haptic voodoo or not, I feel like it's just the one that feels the best to hold.
Genuinely. It's the first time where I can safely say that, congratulations, Sony, you made a controller that was comparable and in some ways surpasses Xbox's controllers. Congratulations. Because Xbox has literally owned controllers since like the 360 at this point. And finally, you make a controller after all this time that doesn't just have a shitty gimmick like a touchpad or 6-axis. You actually went, okay, what if we make a controller that's actually fun? So much so that Phil Spencer was like, oh no, that DualSense is actually pretty cool. We're going to think about doing another controller for the series at some point. Like, that's the point that you got it to.
Yeah.
Solid-ass controller. The triggers are so good, dude. And the bumpers. Oh. Most underrated part of the DualSense is the bumpers, because the DualShock 4 has these narrow little bastards that are horrible, and they just don't feel nice. The DualSense, I don't know if you have your DualSense near me. I don't, Hunter, so I can't use it to compare.
I don't have my DualSense. I was grabbing the PS4
Oh, you have it? Oh,
controller.
fuck it. It's all the way over there. I don't want to show my stomach
If
again.
if I like stood up, I could grab it. Hold on.
Yeah, Hunter, go show it, because I don't... Yeah, Hunter, go grab it, because I don't want to go and show my stomach again. I don't want to show the dress off too much. That's for all the Twitch primers.
That's for Twitter.
That's for Twitter. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Alrighty. So...
Yeah, look how thick and awesome those bumper buttons are, dude. They're sick.
They be
I
chunky.
love them. They're chunky. They feel so good to press. I love them.
As opposed to the dinky little one here.
Yeah, literally, if you compare them, like if you put them side by side, it's like night and day. They're like triple the size. They're absolutely gorgeous. I love them. That honestly my favorite part of the controller. It's not even close.
What the PlayStation 4 controller lacks in size, it makes up for in loudness of color.
Yeah. Also, the USB-C is also really nice.
Yeah,
Oh,
USB-C is great.
That's a much better
Yeah.
cord than the micro.
As for the console itself, I still don't like the design of it. A year later,
It is still really big. I've not moved it at all.
It's a thick boy. The disk drive is
refuse
still
to.
the loudest part of it. 1 year on, Hunter, I'm touching wood right now, but 1 year on, it's still a quiet boy. It's not loud. It's not got PS4 syndrome yet, where it turns
I've
into a
had
lawnmower.
it get loud when I turn it on for no discernible reason, but then it stops.
Is there a disc in?
Yeah, most of the time that
Then
happens
that-
when I turn it on. But
That would, yeah. So that might be what it is. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah.
The disc drive is really loud for the PS5. So console, like as a whole, I still think the console's a really solid piece of kit. I think it feels like it's good. Like it's a good console. I don't feel like I did with the PS4, where I was like the PS4 is a great console, but when comparing it to the PS3, you're just like, it's not. It's more of the same in a way. It's like, oh, it's your younger brother who's slightly better.
Like, oops. Yeah, I know what you mean, because when the PS4 came out, I was feeling like, do I really need this?
Yeah.
I feel like you didn't do everything you could with this one yet.
Mm-hmm. Whereas the PS5 is with the few exceptions where you see the new stuff that they are doing, I'm like, oh, okay, this shit's cool. Like, I can see the reason for both the new Xbox and the new PlayStation this time around, which is nice to actually see for once. So yeah, that's launch. That's everything that I can think of a launch console. Still think it's great. Launch games, the demo is the best part. Thank you for your time.
$600, please.
It was only 500.
I don't know. I don't own one.
It was only 500 or 450 UK. So Hunter, you got yours around when? January? February? February.
Yeah.
So what was the first game you played on yours?
I think the first thing, I dabbled around with just a bunch of stuff for about in like 30-minute increments before I settled on Bloodborne for a little while. But the first like full thing I played through was Persona Strikers.
Oh, classic.
Yeah.
Did that game come out this
year?
Yeah. That's going in the HGO category. But yeah, that happened. Like the backwards compatibility on PS5 is pretty great for the most part. It works rather well, and I think my favorite part about it is it makes a lot of games that did have off frame rates have kind of decent frame rates again. It's not perfect, but if a game's like if a game was locked at 30 and had dips, it's like, congratulations, you no longer have dips. Like it'll
just always be 30.
Yeah, it'll just always be 30, which is a nice thing to have. You also played DMC5, was the first PS5 game you played.
That was the first one that I popped in and did like half of a playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, solid stuff. All the extra, the haptic feedback on that one was cool because in DMC you don't pull the triggers of the controller to get the guns to shoot, so it was interesting to see their different ways of vibrating the controller to make it have the effect. Like like when using Dante's shotgun, it felt discernibly different in my hand than the handguns.
Yeah.
So how did Nero's sword feel?
Oh yeah, that was so cool. Revving his sword was a lot of fun. I'm like, ooh, nice.
Yeah,
I actually think it helped me get the rhythm down a little better too, for like doing the slash and boost all the way for timing it right.
Nice. Yeah, I remember the next game I played, because there was a long time where that's my one fault with PS5 is it's the opposite of the Nintendo Switch, where the Nintendo Switch had a banger first 9 months where it was just game. It was like, Breath of the Wild, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, it was like Breath of the Wild, then Mario Kart 8 Deluxe the next month, then ARMS the next month, then Splatoon the next month. then other things in the summer, and then on Mario Odyssey, and then Xenoblade 2, and then in the spring you at least had stuff like the new Kirby game come out. I think was that year, and
I think so.
Yoshi's Crafted
Yeah,
World and shit like
Yoshi
that came out.
that year.
It had a solid starting lineup, whereas this has been like kind of stop and start. You had some shit at launch, then it went away.
Yeah, then Returnal was like the next big thing.
Yeah, and you had little things that came out, like Final Fantasy Remake came out in between as well.
Right.
Which that's the way to play Final Fantasy VII. Like honestly, that is Remake is made for PS5. Go and play it that way, because that game in 60 FPS. At first I was like, I don't think it matters that much. I liked Final Fantasy VII regardless, and then I went on a journey to platinum both of them, and I played Final Fantasy VII all the way through on PS5, and then I went back to finish my stuff off on 4, and I hated every moment of it because I was like, God, it feels so smooth on the PS5 because of the 60 FPS. Because those kinds of games is where the nicer frame rates and stuff really shine, is in like combat focused games and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so good. So yeah, then the main next one was Returnal. Gosh, I can't speak.
yeah,
Which Hunter, you played Returnal. So how did you feel about Returnal?
Returnal was really cool because it was the outside of Astro the first time that I felt like I got a game doing something cool with the controller. Like I mentioned all the things back when I talked about it the first time with the triggers and the rain, it imitating the rain if you were standing in it. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was something that they did in Astro as well that I loved, was the rain, the little tippy taps on the controller. That shit's cool. I love that.
Yeah. And aside from that, Returnal was just a really solid game. Still one of my favorites of the year so far.
I need to pick. I'm praying for a Black Friday deal, dude. I'm praying for a Black Friday deal.
You would think so, since came out in like April.
That and Demon Souls, I'm now ready to get. I'm like, yeah, I want to play those now. Especially now that I have money coming in. I'm like, yeah, I want to play those now. Well, there's also a small creepy part of me that's like, you want to buy a Vita and play Golden on that? I'm like, do I inside head? Like, do I voice in my head? Do I want to buy a Vita? Maybe I do.
You might be the first person to ever think about wanting a Vita.
I don't know. Vita's cool. It's just no one wanted them. That's the problem. Was everyone that had a Vita was quite content with their Vita. It's just no one else wanted it. Yeah. You're like, hey guys, you want to join the club? Nah, we're good. We're good. But no, Returnal, again, excellent game. And I feel like, especially now, all the problems people had are kind of gone because they added the save. They added the save feature, yes.
Yeah.
So now you can close the game down, which is a nice thing to be able to do.
I hope all of you new players enjoy that.
Wait, you weren't allowed to save the game?
No, because you'd lose your cycle. It's like Hades, where it's like Hades. So
except Hades went room by room like a reasonable person.
Yeah.
What?
So Returnal, you either had to put your PS5 in rest mode in the cycle, or you had to die and then close the game when it had saved after your cycle was over. Yeah.
So like feasibly doing a run takes God, like 3 hours.
My arms got fucking. I'm taking this off. I'm getting a rash or something from it. Damn you, China! Damn you, China cosplay! It's giving me marks all over the place. Anyway, Returnal's pretty good, guys.
This episode is just Ethan slowly taking off.
Wow.
Yeah, Returnal's great.
That's for the Patreon, Kyle. Make sure to buy the post show. Oh, good lord. But yeah, what were we saying? Returnal, pretty good, and then quickly followed by Ratchet and Clank, which also very good video game.
I would be real with you, and this is probably a bit strange since it's like a big release, but I forget that came out this year.
I also did forget that game came out this year.
It was one that it was fun while I played it, but it came and went, and I haven't really thought about it since.
Yeah, it was one that I think is excellent and is a must-play 3D platformer if you're into them on the PS5. But at the same time, I beat it in the span of 2 days and did not play it ever. Like I've not played it ever again. Because there's so much that's good. It's like, I think it's my second favorite Ratchet and Clank game behind Crack in Time. I think it's that good. Rivet is like my favorite character to the point where I'm like, fuck Ratchet off. I'm not a furry, but fuck Ratchet off, dude. Rivet is the new character of Ratchet and Clank. This is the new character. Just because Jennifer Hale's just so good. Because Jennifer Hale's great at everything that she does.
Really good at everything.
And she just makes that character so likable that I'm like, damn, get out the way, Ratchet. New better protagonist. And just it's just such a good game, and it looks great, and it was the first time where I did play a game and I was like, oh shit, this is what PS5 looks like. It was that moment of, I like to call it the infamous Second Son moment, because that was the game on PS4. I was like, oh, this game looks like it couldn't run on a PS4. And Ratchet and Clank to me is very much that game where I'm like, oh, this game looks incredible. Comparing it to the people thought Ratchet PS4 looked amazing, and you just look at the jump up and you're like, holy shit, this game's like excellent. So yeah, short game but sweet. That's a lot of the PlayStation lineup for this year have been short games, but you have a good time.
I mean, I'm not gonna complain. I like short and sweet games, to be fair.
But yeah, so that was that one. I'm trying to think what came out between that and Deathloop. Was there anything?
Scarlet Nexus,
Scarlet
exclusives,
Nexus.
No, but
yeah, Scarlet Nexus came out. Which was kind of advertised as a next gen game with Xbox a lot. I know that.
Yeah, it was in a lot of their conferences. Mm-hmm. So much so that I thought that it wasn't even going to be on PlayStation.
Yeah, I remember telling you that it was a day and date on both, and you were like, "Oh, really?" I was like, "Yeah, it's coming to PlayStation."
Pleasant surprise.
And it's a game that since I started playing it, I haven't got back to. I do want to. It's a fun enough game. We just mentioned it on the podcast. That game to me is a great 10-hour game that lasts 30 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's its biggest fault is that game could have done with a bit of trimming of the fat from my point of view. Like, I'm only in chapter 5 or whatever, and I'm like 10 hours into the game, and I'm like, this should be like near the end at this point. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
But I still think it's excellent. And it runs great. Again, next to no loads. It's a pretty good showcase of next gen.
Cries in PS4.
Cries in PS4. Did you feel like
Kyle's like, game took me 40 hours, so I had 10 additional hours of loading.
Did it feel like a downgrade to you, Kyle? Did you play that game at all feeling like there was a better version out there?
Honestly, no. I felt the game ran completely fine on PS4.
That's good. Because I hate games that are cross-gen and you have that feel like they make it shitter. Like, it feels like they make it shitter on purpose, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Where it's like, we could have tried harder, but just get the PS4 version. That was what a lot of late PS3 games felt like.
But, like, barring load screens, the game ran perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm. Also, Hades came to PS5, which was nice.
Yes, it did.
But there was no... I assume there was no load differences between PS4 either, because that game's very well optimized. Very good game. Thank you, Supergiant, for the copy. Appreciate it. I don't
recall the loading being much of a problem on the Switch either.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a big game. Not big.
Crystals came out at some point during the summer too.
And also another game that did not need next gen to showcase whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The next big game for PlayStation was Deathloop.
Yeah.
And Deathloop is a game that I have changed my tune of a little bit since we've done the review. The more I think about Deathloop, the more I like Deathloop. Still don't love it.
My tune on Deathloop is pretty much what you were saying about Shin Megami Tensei earlier, where it's like, it's a good game and I don't really care about it.
My opinion is, once you get rid of the shitty puzzle, I mean, my god, is Deathloop a shit puzzle. Like, Arcane, I understand what you went for. Like, I look at the vision that you guys went for. I look at the idea, and I go, this is fucking an awesome idea. And then you turned it into a shitty step-by-step thing, where it should have been more creative. It shouldn't have had to be, you need to go get the code from this area to get it to do this, and follow it linear like that. Because it didn't feel right. Because I feel their intentions for the game with you to go into Updam in the morning and have a look at some stuff and be like, oh, this place is on this in the afternoon. Let's use afternoon as an example. And see someone set on fire. So you're like, oh, I need to come back in the morning to look here earlier. And while I'm here, let's look at this place. Oh, I can maybe kill this person here. Let's look over here. Oh, here's a passcode for something in a different area for in the evening. I can go and use that later. And I understand that. I feel like they went for something where they were like, you do multiple things and find stuff out and use that in the next part of the day. The game doesn't work like that.
It feels like they wanted to be more environmental with it, but didn't trust the intelligence of the players to pick up on everything.
Oh, 100%. It's a game where I'm like, I wish you didn't hold my hand as much.
Yeah, like if they had just committed it to it being like a big murder puzzle instead of a lead you around on a leash type of thing, I probably would have enjoyed it more.
Yeah, I agree. A dog is on our end, by the way, if you can hear that. That's on our end.
He's going crazy.
He's going crazy. Crazy pupper. But yeah, Deathloop to me is a shitty puzzle because, like I say, they expect you to go around and do all this stuff at once, but it doesn't end up doing that because the game holds your hand that much. The game tells you to go find a password. So you literally go into a map for 2 minutes, find that password, and leave. You don't feel the need to go and find out other information because you know that the game's just going to handhold you to that information in a couple of hours anyway. So you just follow its main path. And I know people are going to use the argument of just turn the objective markers off, but it's hard when all the fucking UI is telling you, even if you do turn the markers off.
Yeah, like Deathloop very much is the gameplay in the moment feels very nice. It's just structurally, I feel like, is the issue.
Yeah, once you've picked off all of the arbitrary shit and have the loop in its final state, it's excellent. It's so fun.
Once I finally got when I had it set up for the final run, I'm like, yes, all right.
Yeah, it felt super satisfying being like, this is the loop where you literally have everyone in place and you're just fucking in and out killing everybody and launching the rocket and getting to the end. It's sick. And then when the game's like, oh, now do it, only killing the visionaries and no one else, I'm like, that's super fun. That stuff is fun. I feel like I'd like Dishonored more because Dishonored is more of that playful experimentation than it is this in and out bollocksy handholdy garbage.
Yeah.
Or you could just play Hitman again.
Or play Hitman, which is also excellent. I feel like it wanted to be Hitman and it wanted to be Dishonored. And in the end, it became like a halfway point where I don't think it mastered either style.
I feel like, speaking of Hitman, although neither of us played it, we should shout that out for being something that people really enjoyed at the beginning of the year when it dropped.
Oh, Hitman 3? Yeah, I know. Yeah. I enjoyed Hitman 1 at the start of the year. I'm still catching up, but that game is pretty pog. I like it.
Yeah, but that was one that I heard a bunch of people were enjoying on next gen.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. So yeah, Deathloop was one. Life is Strange also, I liked a lot. Did not need next gen to play it, especially because they didn't even fucking optimize the load. So thank you for that one.
Heck yeah. Let's go, Square.
But True Colors is still one of my games of the year. It's fucking excellent, and you guys should play it if you like that kind of game, because I think it's really well done. And then here we are in the big drought of normal games.
Bridge of Spirits was one that they...
Oh, Kana! We forgot about Kana. Oh my god,
we
forgot about Kana.
It had a PS4 version, but it was pretty heavily advertised on for their PS5 stuff, and it played really nice, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like, came out in the middle of my playthrough of Deathloop, and I stopped to play Kana all the way.
Yeah,
so,
Kana is definitely a game that I want to go and get at some point. I might just get the physical edition because that's probably out soon, right? Because it was like a month and a half delay.
Yeah,
so I might have to have a look.
Because I do want a box for it.
Oh, here we go. Look at him, dude. He's the opposite of me. I get the box and then go, I can't be asked to swap the discs. I'm just going to buy a digital copy. And I'm just like, man, I'll buy the digital if it's only digital at first, but then I need the damn box.
I liked it enough to where I don't feel bad about buying a box.
Yeah.
So
that's fair enough.
Evidenced by how many copies of Hades?
4 total.
I am kind of pissed that there's no Skyrim next gen box because I kind of wanted it for the minute at this point. Unfortunately, there isn't. But no, now we're just in the drought. Whereas I feel like Xbox. This
See
is the
you
point
guys when we get to Horizon.
Xbox is eating good though. That's the thing is Xbox is having a nice little fucking moment. They had Psychonauts, now they have Forza, now they have Halo coming out. Those guys, say what you want about them only releasing Forza and Halo, but hello, it's Forza and Halo season, so they are eating.
strangely enough, it's like at the same time this time. I feel like usually those are like spaced apart.
Yeah, they're usually a year gap between them, so it's like they're eating quite well. And I'm like, oh, lucky you guys. We'll just sit here and play with our toys of nothing. Great. We'll see you for Horizon in February if that still comes out in Feb. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So yeah, how are you feeling after a year, Hunter? In conclusion,
I feel like I was alive for the PS2 launch year, which, you know, with the benefit of hindsight, has a lot of games that I really liked, but I wasn't really a cognizant thinking creature at the time, so I think this is probably the best launch year for a console that PlayStation has done that I've actually been like in tuned to.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I 100% agree.
PS3, I don't think had anything that I would have cared about until Metal Gear Solid came out in 2008.
2008 really was the year for PS3.
Yeah, and then
because that was also Uncharted year.
Yeah. I didn't really care about anything that came out on that until like Dragon Age popped at the end.
I honestly think my first game, I liked Infamous Second Son, but I think the first game,
I did play that, it was cool.
The first game to me where I was like, oh shit, this is next gen, was Arkham Knight, which was 2015, which was like nearly 2 years after the console came out. So it was like, oof, you know? But Arkham Knight, still a great looking game, so. But man, that was the first game. Whereas here, I feel like we've already had some games like that. We've already had, you know, Ratchet, and we've had games that do look nice, and we have Horizon coming up and God of War next year. There's stuff to look forward to. Kyle, as someone who doesn't have a PS5, how are you feeling? You feeling like you're missing out on all these fucking 5 games?
It's like, at the moment, I just don't feel a need to even try looking for a PS5. Because like I said at the start of this, everything that I'd want to get is also coming to the PS4.
He's one of these nerds. He's one of these thinking nerds. You hate them, Hunter. We hate to see it.
And I mean, like, I'm not doing backflips over, like, Final Fantasy VII Intergrade, for example.
Oh, but you got to play Yuffie.
I already wasn't too big on regular remake, so
Oh, yeah. In our little recap of the games that came out, we forgot to mention the copious amount of director's cuts.
Oh, fucking Ghost of Tsushima and
Death Stranding.
Also that.
Yeah, those also happened. But guess what, guys? They were the same games. There was the Iki Island expansion. I said this on my stream earlier. Does anyone remember that came out this year? No. And it was only like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
It was August. So it's like, yeah, well done, guys.
Death Stranding.
At least Kojima didn't have the audacity to try and charge me a half-priced video game for the upgrade.
Yeah, it was like $8 for the upgrade or something. Like,
it was just like $10, please. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. It's what it would have been if it was a new game.
Yeah, it was $10 and it worked. You know, like it was. And
they added go-karting.
Yeah, they added racing to it. Kojima was sick of no Mario Kart 9, so he made it himself.
He is a lad.
So yeah, I can see why. It's still one of those consoles where it's like you buy it when you want it. You know, if you find a game that's like, to me, it is, the convenience is nice. The fact that it's not like PS3 to PS4, you can still play your PS4 games on your PS5, and they tend to run better too. Is the thing where I'm like, I'm more willing for people to be like, okay, yeah, you buy that PS5 because you actually get some kind of convenience with it.
Yeah. Like, even a year or two after I got my PS4, I still had the PS3.
Yeah.
In the general vicinity when I wanted to play something else.
I remember when I used to still play Assassin's Creed at the start of the PS4 generation, and they released Unity and Rogue on two separate generations. There was one game on PS3 and one game on PS4, and I played both of them. But so it was just like, oh yeah, I guess I'm playing this on PS3, plugging in my PS3 again and playing.
Wasn't that the better game too?
It was the more it was the less glitchy game. I like Unity because it's a game sent during the French Revolution where everyone has an English accent. It's very funny, very cool. Someone calls you piss pot, and I'm like, yes, the French love calling people piss pot in a Cockney accent. There you go.
I'm gonna need to remember that one.
Yeah.
It's like how Death Stranding is like a journey across America, but you only ever seem to be traveling over Icelandic beaches.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it's like journey across America. Sam will look strangely like the Nordic region. Okay, goodbye. Like, yeah. Fucking Conan's just living in a fucking mountain, just like, hey, it's me, Conan O'Brien. Do you want an otter mask? Of course you do.
I love Kojima.
Kojima. Classic.
But no, I think the thing that'll finally make me mark down on wanting to get a PS5 is when FF16 gets a release date.
Next year.
Right.
It's probably next year.
Because
I have a
like,
strong feeling it's next year.
what's it? Final Fantasy Origins?
Yeah.
The Chaos Killing game?
Yeah.
Strangers in
Craig's
Paradise.
Final Fantasy Wacky Adventure.
Like, that's on PS4, and I'm mildly interested in that video game.
God damn it.
Morbidly curious.
It was the Limp Bizkit cutscene that won me over. I'm like, I need to see the rest of this right now.
It's an experience. But yeah. I think 2022 will be the year
Words
to get
that
PS5.
don't make sense in my head. Limp Bizkit won over.
Final Fantasy.
Yeah. Because I'm trying to get this back on track. Because
No.
because looking at 2022, I feel 2022 will be the year where I can be like, okay, now's the time to get both a PS5 and an Xbox. Probably those are probably the years to get them. Because next year for PlayStation, you have Horizon, you have God of War, God of War is coming out next year. That game looks done. Yeah. I have said this. I think it's more likely for Horizon to get pushed out of 2022 than God of War at this point because Horizon seems to be having a bit of a rough time. But you've got both of those. And then on top of that, you've probably got surprises that Sony hasn't talked about. You have got all the Square games that are being released because Square seems to be having another renaissance with Sony, it seems. Yeah, with Strangers in Paradise for Spoke. And I think 16 will come out next year. I think they keep saying that game's nearly done. And I know that Square isn't the kind of company that likes to sit on games for too long, so I'm sure that they'll just chuck it out.
Anymore.
Yeah. Anymore. Because I think last Yoshi B said about 16 was that they were finishing side quests or something. They were like, main story's done. We're just finishing writing the side quests. I'm like, okay, that game seems like it's like getting pretty close.
It's coming along nicely.
Which, to be fair, it's made by fucking Yoshi P. I'm sure that game's not going to go into development hell because he's the only person that can work on schedule at Square. So
the dude couldn't uphold his expansion schedule for Final Fantasy 14 and was very upset. So I imagine,
But no, you've got all that shit coming out. WB has the Harry Potter game, the Gotham Knights game, and the Suicide Squad game. I can guarantee one or two of those will not make it to 2022. You take your picks which two those are. But two of those probably won't make it. You have all the stuff from all the other developers as well. There's like a lot of stuff is planned for 2022. You've got Elden Ring, you've got fucking that first couple of months, Saints Row. You've got a lot of shit coming out in the first couple of months. So next year will probably be the year. And Xbox has a lot of shit coming as well. It's getting to that point where Microsoft bought all those studios about 4 years ago and they're all finally getting ready to release shit. And it's like, oh god, here we go. Let's hope some of it's good. That vampire game won't be. I don't know what that one was, but it's that.
You talking about the other
the Red
game?
Yeah. That one just, Redfall just did not look good to me. I don't know why. People were bumming that CG trailer, and I'm like, this looks shit. This looks like Twilight fanfic, dude. Like it looks
like what if we did the Left 4 Dead thing, but with vampires?
It looked like Left 4 Dead meets Saints Row meets vampires in a weird we're being satirical about the vampires, but also it's a co-op vampire zombie Left 4 Dead thing. But also it's Arcane, who are also kind of wacky with everything they do, but also dark vampires. I'm like, no, I don't care. I'll just play every other Xbox game and not that
inherently, like, vampires are usually a selling point for me.
Fair enough. So I say, Kyle, that we skip Animal Crossing for this week.
Sounds good.
Give you a chance to play it. I'll send you a reminder next Thursday so that you remember.
Can you send it earlier than Thursday?
Fair enough, will do. Do you want to give a quick update, Hunter, on Tales of Arise for like 10 minutes before we call it quits?
Alrighty. Well, I've been playing more of it, and I've still been really enjoying it. Like, I feel like I've been moving along this game at a pretty decent pace.
How many hours would you say you're in now?
I think it's like the mid-30s, maybe 40. Can't remember quite, but I'm getting there. I feel like it'll probably be around 60 by the time it's all said and done. Maybe mid-50. I don't quite know when I'll be finished, but I've also been taking the time to go and do most of the side missions, which is fun since the longer I've been alive, the less I decide to go and do that in these kind of games now. But most of Tales of Arise's side quests are pretty simple as far as people are either asking me for just items that I already have, or they're like, go kill this big monster.
The Scarlet Nexus side quests.
Oh, don't get me started, dude.
You see, but I didn't feel motivated to do it in Scarlet Nexus because I felt like
I did it. It was tied to a trophy.
Yeah, I didn't
Look
care
at
about
this
the trophies.
Look at this.
Look at this guy. Did Ethan's words just come out of your mouth?
Yeah, dude, I got the plat for that game.
Hello to this fucker playing games for trophies. What a loser.
It was worth
See,
it.
Scarlet Nexus, I felt like was already sending me back through the same areas a lot in its main story that I didn't want to go back even more for the side quests. And Tales of Arise, they're also just very simple to achieve because they don't want me to kill like 10 of these monsters. They want me to kill like 3, maybe like 2 encounters worth of fighting things, and then just go back, or a big one. And it's very simple to accomplish. The gameplay, the combat is a lot of fun, so I'm always up for going to do that. It gives you more like the points for the upgrade tree, so there's a reason to continue to do it besides just like items or something.
Mm-hmm.
Though one thing I did realize shortly after talking about the game last week is that it's something a little weird as far as the combat's concerned. Enemies have weak points like some of the bigger ones do, but there's no way to specifically target those weak points. You just kind of have to position yourself and hope that you hit them.
Yeah, because
like if you can lock onto enemies, but your character just kind of aims at the central mass of the thing.
Of course.
So you just gotta like try and position yourself in a manner of like, sometimes it's easy enough because it'll be like big rock monster, and weak points just on the back, so you just run around and smack it. But then like some of these other things will be like this mantis creature where one of its specific little, pincer claw things is the weak spot, and I'm like, how am I supposed to hit this consistently?
Doesn't one of your characters have a gun?
Oh,
Well, yeah, but I'm not aiming down the sights with the gun.
Why not? Just aim fire, Just fire, dude. Just fire.
That's what it comes down to, is I just kind of like put myself in the general area of the thing and then hope for the best.
Carl, you say you hate this. I'm wearing this shirt every fucking week now. This is the only
No,
thing
you're
I
not.
You could just start wearing another shirt underneath of
50 likes and I'll wear this shirt again next week, guys.
50 likes.
You heard the man.
I might make it a channel point reward on my Twitch stream, like 200,000, and I'll wear the Anne costume again.
Amazing.
Next time I'll work out for it.
Dude, imagine doing a full Crash 2 run in the costume.
Yeah.
That'd be so hot. Temperature-wise.
I'm not getting. You're not allowed on the OnlyFans anymore, Kyle. I'm blocking you out. I honestly, I'm sorry to derail your Tales of Arise discussion. It's actually quite comfy. I don't like the fact that if I do this, literally my skin is here, like just off frame. I don't like that. But other than that, this shit's quite comfy. I keep forgetting I'm wearing a dress, to be honest. I don't know. They're all right. Don't care though. It's not like one of those like my review of dresses. Put that in the timestamps, Ethan. Ethan's dress review is they're all right. I don't mind wearing trousers instead though. You know what I mean? Like this isn't doing anything for me. Anyway, back to Tales of Arise. So overall, Hunter, obviously you're like probably 2/3 of the way through. You mentioned pre-podcast that you got like the anime intro.
Oh yeah,
second.
the anime intro. Like all of these games have one at the start.
Yeah.
It seems, at least as far as Abyss had one, Vesperia had one. I imagine they just all do. And I got to a point in the game where it just stopped and gave me a new one. I was like, oh, well, this is fun. So yeah, I have to be at least halfway through. I think I'm more like 2/3 of the way through, if just going off of like my idea of the structure of these games.
Was it better or worse than the first one though? Because here's my thing: is most of the time, if an anime has a second opening song for the second half of the season, it's always worse. Always worse, dude.
So I didn't actually hear the first one that many times, so I didn't like get attached to it. So it's comparable. Like I'm not super stuck on one or the other.
Nah,
it's got a different tone completely. Like the first one's more triumphant.
Oh, they always do. They always.
And this one's more like I don't know, introspective, I guess. Almost as if it would be a credit theme, if not for the fact that it had the bombastic anime opening sequence in front of you.
They always do. Yeah, they always do. It's like one example I always have is I remember watching Shield Hero. That show's never getting a second season because it keeps getting delayed. Literally, that show came out in 2019. Season 2 was supposed to be this year. It got pushed to May. That shit ain't coming out. That's the new Cyberpunk. But I remember the first half of the season had like this massive like anime-esque kind of bombastic intro music. And then the second one was kind of the depressed kind of fucking edgy version of like the shit's going down, are we gonna make it kind of song. Like, this shit sucks. Bring back the first one, dude. Bring back the first one.
I only ever watched the first season of Attack on Titan, but they had a mid-season switch, and like the first opening theme for that show is very iconic with its classic, I don't know how to describe it, but like if you know what classic, it sounds like,
classic sound.
It sounds like. And then the other one, they switched that up. I'm like, why would you hit it so good?
Yeah, same with the Persona 5 anime, dude. Fucking Break In to Break Out is honestly like excellent, to the point where I'm like, if you're a Persona fan, go out of your way to listen to the intro song to the Persona 5 anime, because it's absolutely it's amazing. Dark's on the second one, poo compared to the first one. Get it out of it. Like, I was mad. I was like, how dare you, atrocity. Anyway, Tales of Arise.
Yeah, Tales of Arise. I got the full party now, and all of their dynamics are fun, not just the couple that they seem to be. It seems like this game likes to focus on specific like pairings of the characters a lot of the time, but when you get the other interactions intermixed with it, it's really cool too.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. Like, it's very, I wouldn't say it's anything revolutionary, but it's good enough to make me invested more so than a lot of other things.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. It's honestly that game has went completely off of my radar because of the shit demo. Like,
yeah.
I honestly, from the sounds of it, Hunter, it honestly sounds like if I just played the actual game instead. Like,
that's
bought the
how
game
I usually am. Like, it's funny because I understand what you mean by the demo not being what you needed to be sold on it, but I think what it was just seeing the party interact with each other. I'm like, I do need to play this sooner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. To me, I feel like I might probably like it more if I gave it a shot. But at the same time, that demo scarred me. So many text boxes, even for a JRPG. I hate exposition in games, dude. Oh, SMT5, I didn't mention it. Fuck me, the exposition. I saw someone's review of it, and they were like, this game's exposition light. I'm like, is it shit? The only cutscenes I've had of two gods talking to each other and expositioning to each other. It's like, it's the end of days, and it's like, oh, but will the chosen rise up? I'm like, fuck off, just get to the point. Like, I hate shit like that. I hate exposition. JRPGs, why? Stop with your exposition nonsense.
I don't know why, but when you described that scene, I was just thinking of the opening of Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh,
where
yeah, fucking
Xehanort and Drake Bell are playing chess with each other.
Yeah, and you're just like, yeah. A scene that's already aged terribly, and it's only been like 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, it's 100%. I hate scenes like that where it's like but darkness will prevail over light. It's like they just keep doing this Uno reverse on each other when they'll be like, no, but darkness engulfs all light and everything that it contains. And then he'd be like, but light perseveres through the darkness and shines. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Get to the point.
Pop quiz audience, was that made up Kingdom Hearts dialogue?
I'd be surprised if it was actual dialogue because it just came out of my head. I guessed
well, I mean,
it.
that's all of Kingdom Hearts' dialogue. Feels like Nobara just thinks of it and writes it down.
Yeah,
and doesn't look at it a second time.
exactly. But no, glad to hear you're enjoying it. You'll have to give us your concluding thoughts when you finish it, probably by next week.
Sure
Hunter.
will.
In the meantime,
imagine so. I've still got all of tonight and the rest of the weekend.
Go get you. No, you don't have tonight because it's now time for Ethan's mad party sesh at 4 a.m. Let's go.
All right.
We're celebrating. 24 is plenty for us, Eamon would say. We're going to go on a mad sesh. Let's go. But no, we will give you updates on Animal Crossing. I have been playing Animal Crossing quite a bit. I played the new update. I played a bit of Happy Home Paradise. I spent 45 minutes today building someone a new home for reading books in, and it was a great time. So we'll give you a load of progress updates on Animal Crossing. That kind of feels bittersweet, talking about Animal Crossing again, because it was the first thing we talked about on the podcast. Well, one of the first things.
And it was the first thing we talked about on this season.
Was it?
Because I started playing Animal Crossing when we started the second season.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Wow. There you go.
Cool.
But yeah, look forward to that. We'll also talk about some stuff. I've got some games that I need to play that I probably will. SMT5 will not be one
Doesn't
of them,
Pokemon come out next week?
Yeah, but who cares?
I don't want it. It's fucking wrong.
I don't like Pokemon.
I mean, I'm going to do that again. Come back next week where I trash an actual JRPG. If you think I trashed SMT5 by saying it's great and it's not for me, come back next week.
JRPG.
Come back next week, Pokemon fans, where I literally beat the shit out of the dead horse that is Pokemon for the 60th time. Let's go. I downgraded my pre-order from the dual edition to the single one because I'm like, if it's the same ROM, I'm just fucking getting Diamond. You can't make me get both now.
Yeah, just change a 1 to a 0 and you're good.
You know, I had a look at my pre-order actually for Brilliant Diamond and Shiny Pearl. Nintendo has the audacity to charge people more for the dual pack instead of less. It's cheaper to buy both games separately.
What?
It was.
I was under the impression that it was like
to save
just
money.
2 of them. Like
Yeah.
I looked at it and I was like, I thought it was like 120 because like 60 and 60.
My thought was the idea behind the dual pack was like maybe make it like $115, $110, and be like, if you have a family of 2 people that play Pokemon, here you go, get the brother and sister a copy each and save a bit of money in doing so because they're pretty similar games. But no, here in the UK, at least on Shop2, which was where I bought my game from, this is how it went. It was like Brilliant Diamond, £40, Shining Pearl, £40. Combo pack, £83. And I'm like, $39.99 plus $39.99 does not equal $83.99 or whatever. I'm like, what?
It's like they hit you with the concert classic convenience fee.
Yeah.
Where every time I buy tickets to a concert, they hit me with like $10 extra because they had to push 2 buttons on a keyboard.
Yeah.
And I hate them for it.
It's so dumb. It's literally the fucking you're an idiot Pokemon fan tax, where it's like, congratulations, you played yourself. You want the stupid combo pack? Well, give us more money for the same content. I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourselves.
So if you're not getting both of them, which one did you get? Diamond or Pearl?
Diamond, the same one that I had as a kid.
Right.
I will say though that I filmed a bit. I don't know if I'll put it up there because I think there might be personal information in it, but I did film a funny bit where I showed my pre-order shit for Shin Megami Tensei 5 and they gave me another fucking poster, so I stuck it in the poster drawer. I was like, be gone into the poster drawer. But one thing they did give me that was quite cute is a Jack Frost keychain.
Oh, you got a Jack Frost. That's neat.
Yeah, a little hee-ho keychain. I also got a steelbook. I can show you the steelbook as well. Well, I say all links are on screen right now. Go and follow us on Twitter. Wow.
I picked up Strikers. I got a Joker pin.
I'm trying to lean down far enough so that my midriff does not show again. Let's go. There's the steelbook. Quite cool.
Wow.
Nice.
Still sealed, like the Bowser's Furry one. That also is still sealed. I'm starting a collection of Nintendo Switch Steelbooks that also go in a drawer of shame.
Because Ethan hates steelbooks.
I hate Steelbooks, they're garbage. But yeah, go and follow us on Twitter, keep up to date with everything that we do in our own lives and stuff like that. Like me wearing this every day for the rest of my life.
This is just how things are now.
Just how things are. I might swap the dress out for some trousers, but I'm kind of attached to the shirt at this point. Might make me start exercising. But anyway, if you want to keep up to date with just the podcast and not my awful attire, then you can go and follow us at Hot Gamers Only on Twitter. Subscribe to us at youtube.com/Hot Gamers Only. And if you want to see our stupid faces, then you keep looking at YouTube, because you're not supposed to see our stupid faces if you go to the podcast services like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Go over there, just search for Hot Gamers Only. If you don't want to look at me cosplaying all of your favorite waifus, I'm going to make you unattracted to every anime character. Next week, who knows who it is? I'm just gonna literally start picking Cal's favorite anime characters and ruining them for him.
I mean, you would have started with Makoto if you were shooting for Kyle's tastes.
No.
I mean, he would have started with Celeste if he was really aiming for my tastes.
I was talking about in the realm of Persona.
Well, I just mean in general.
Makoto's next year, dude. Makoto's next year.
Ethan in a leotard is things I don't need to see.
To Yoshizawa next
50 likes. No, I feel like this is the closest you're getting. A long dress, well, longish dress is the most you're getting out of me. And it might have not even made the edit. I might look at it and go, no, that's not going on the internet.
No. Maybe I won't.
Yeah, maybe I'll zoom in.
I've made a grave mistake.
Yeah. I'm fine with the midriff. Maybe the fucking leggings are a bit too much. Who knows? But you guys saw it, and that's all that really matters. So, also let us know who you think who won the costume contest of this year. Did Kyle with his 8-hour render of Bo Burnham? Was it me with this horrifying fucking dancing outfit from Persona 5 dancing, or was it Hunter in the classic Joker attire from Persona 5? Let us know which was your favorite.
The super uncomfortable mask.
That's the other thing. I didn't do a P5 dress up either. You guys really need to send me these memos.
I guess we were
Please just CC me on an email. That's all I ask.
Yeah, me and Hunter were rendezvousing this for months beforehand. To be fair, like, the reason that I did the dancing outfit, I guess we'll talk about this really quickly. The reason that I did the dancing outfit and not the regular outfit is because there's no way in fucking hell I'm wearing spandex. That was like, that was the point of no return, where I was like, and no. Because I was like, I wanted to do something funny and not go for something completely like, I wanted to go out there, but I did not want to go that out there. I'm like, that's not going on the internet. I'll wear a crop top on the internet. I won't wear a fucking spandex suit. You can't make me. Next year, 50 likes.
We now know Ethan's limit.
Next year, 50
Next year,
likes,
literally, you can just imagine this is like literally, you're gonna play that clip, and then next year I'm gonna be in it, and then that's it. I'm not. I'm promising you that now.
Well,
next year Ethan will do that. Kyle and I can fight over who has to inflict cosplaying Catwoman as the other.
I'd like to see that cat fight. But anyway. That's enough of this garbage show. Come back to the show next time, where I'll be wearing actual clothing.
Where we beat up Pokemon fans.
Where we beat up Pokemon fans. Maybe I will do it in this shirt just to flex. Just be like, I'm a Sigma male.
I would
Pokemon
dominance.
What is that game not? Fire. But anyway, until next time. Yeah, we'll see you next time, I guess, for more HGO. I don't know what to say. This outro is chaotic. Yeah. Have an awesome week.
So are you.
Thank you. Have an awesome week. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Bye.
See ya.
Toodaloo.